Well, it's a bit obvious, isn't it? I take quite a few viewpoints into account writing these. Quality and history are major factors, and those are probably the two components that are going to clash in this video. I did an unusual amount of recounting the plot in An Unearthly Child because that was a 125-minute episode. Retrospectively, I have some reservations about not combining 100,000 BC with An Unearthly Child in that review, quite simply because both of these reviews are quite short. Although I think this one is actually going to be a little longer than the last one. Nonetheless, short is good, and I have different enough opinions about the two to split them up, so 100,000 BC. Since I'm largely talking to Doctor Who fans who might not be too familiar with the classic series, I'd like to familiarize you guys with it. I also like to get the obvious out of the way. Obviously, 100,000 BC is bad. Its legacy is the painful three-part caveman story after An Unearthly Child, and yeah, that's not wrong. The plot is a repetitive runaround. It basically invents the ever-obnoxious and story-destroying capture-and-escape formula. The pessimism of the story sort of betrays the show's hopefulness and ultimately doesn't really have a useful point to make. And most damningly, it thinks that the audience can take seriously characters who are cavemen with three-letter names and have long disjointed dialogue.
Tell me what my father did to make fire. Cal is no leader.
The leader is the...
Orb sent me this creature. I am the son of the great firemaker.
I say tomorrow, you will rub your hands together and...
I will do.
That said, I don't really mind this. That probably says more than anything that I'm not bored easily enough. But there is actually plenty of interesting thematic material and multi-layered storytelling to explore if you're reasonably insane and don't have a girlfriend. Already the show that will lead to such great inventions as The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and The Sandman exists, and while it's not even close to mastering itself, it's getting somewhere, which is really the most you can reasonably expect for the first season of a television show, especially in 1963. From the beginning of the 3 episodes, the story is continuing dealing with the themes and characters set up in the first episode. The queasiness of the 60s and its affinity for rebellion is omnipresent in these early episodes. Several of the series' long-running concerns, such as power play, social entropy, technology, and social progress, are already present. The Doctor thinks of Ian and Barbara and all their kind as savages. Then they pop back to humanity's early days, and the Doctor is proved right. This story and execution is silly as hell, but it conceptually holds some weight, if not a lot of poignancy. There's a lot of theme and detail here. In the first episode, the TARDIS was the next huge leap in technology. The next 3 episodes go back in time and explore the origin point of technology, fire, and the battle men have over it. The fading leader of the caveman tribe, whose name is actually Za, is desperate to make fire to rekindle his leadership. He's challenged by a potential new leader named Cal, who threatens to take away his power and her. Yeah, the cave woman is actually named her. Progress is trying to be made, but it is for power alone. There are also older members of the tribe. The old woman fights against the idea of fire, likely because it is forbidden by Orb, who's their god, presumably the sun, the ultimate fire. Old people are disregarded in this society by the younger members. Curiously, Za doesn't seem to demand that he makes the fire himself. When the Doctor comes along having been seen making fire, he's perfectly willing to have him make the fire and present it to the tribe himself. Origins don't matter in this society. Symbols do. Ian and Barbara, Ian particularly, struggle to make fire for their survival. They're working on their own future by working on their past-present future. It's utterly unself-conscious, but the timey-wimey elements exist already. But to be fair, this is a bad story. I absolutely would not have watched this 3 times voluntarily if it weren't for these videos. I'll probably never see it again after this unless someday I have kids who want to watch it again, in which case I'll gladly watch it with them and fondly look back on these days, remembering the days when I made videos about Doctor Who when I was a teenager, and relishing my future status as the first American to write Doctor Who episodes. Looking forward to next time because iconography.